we're a little concerned because, well, the officers who were here earlier were checking, and they got a bad vibe that, like, something was going on here because nobody knew anything about a child. They weren't talking.
It's because a lot of stuff has gone on. If you want to know, it's a lot of stuff. So,
well, that's why we're concerned, because it just was.
In the autumn of 2019, in a quiet college town in eastern Idaho, two children simply stopped existing to the outside world. A 16-year-old girl named Tylee Ryan, a 7-year-old boy named Joshua, everyone called him JJ. 1 month they were part of a family, going to school, being seen by relatives. The next, they were gone. There was no missing persons report, no frantic mother on the evening news begging for their return. Because the one person who should have raised the alarm, their mother, was busy telling everyone who asked that the children were perfectly fine, that they were staying with a friend, that there was nothing to worry about. Her name was Vallow Vallow.
Does your husband live here or no?
No, he lives in Houston.
Gotcha.
We just moved in here.
Gotcha. How long have you guys lived here?
I'm sorry?
How long have you lived here?
Like 3 weeks.
Oh, geez. Yeah, okay.
That's why the neighbors don't know us.
Gotcha.
Like, hi neighbor, sorry.
Are you working at all?
No.
Okay. And you're still about 5'6", 120? There's a blonde young lady here. And then blue eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, very blue eyes. That's not under debate. I've got into a verbal argument. Brother steps in and says, just get out. At some point, the niece grabs the bat and is poking her dad. Dad takes the bat away. They decide to leave. Everyone leaves. There's a son too, a younger son. Her son, he's not here either. So, wife who lives here, her daughter, her son, they all leave. Her brother staying here, visiting, and the husband. They get into it. He's like, he says they got into an argument. Husband hit him in the head with a bat. The bat's right next to the brother says, that goes to his room, grabs his gun, his own gun, goes back out, doesn't stay in the room, doesn't lock the door, doesn't call us, but goes back out, confronts him, says, drop the bat. The guy just dropped the bat. He says he shoots him. Goes back into his room, puts his gun away, grabs his phone, cleans his head up, calls 911.
And over the next 4 years, investigators, prosecutors, and 2 juries in 2 different states would piece together a story so strange it barely sounds real, a story of apocalyptic prophecy, of people secretly labeled as good or evil, of insurance money and a new marriage, and of a body count that stretched across 3 states. This case gripped the country in a way few do, and it is worth asking why. Part of it was the sheer strangeness, the doomsday theology, the talk of zombies and possession. But the deeper reason is harder to sit with. Most people, when they imagine danger to a child, imagine a stranger. This case forced the opposite. The danger came from the center of the family, from the person the law and nature both assume will die to protect their children. Vallow Vallow was, by every earlier account, a doting mother. And that is precisely what makes the story so hard to look away from the question of how a mother becomes the thing her children need protection from. So this is the complete account. 3 states, 3 deaths and 1 attempted killing, 2 trials, a death sentence, and a string of life sentences. But it begins and ends with the 2 children whose names must come first, and everything in between is the road that was built over them. To understand how 2 children could vanish and their mother stay silent, you have to understand what Vallow Vallow had come to believe. By 2018, Vallow, a mother who had been married several times and, by most accounts, was warm and devoted to her kids, had fallen deep into a fringe strand of apocalyptic religion. At the center of it was a man named Chad Daybell. Chad ran a small publishing company and wrote novels about the end of the world. about prophecies and the last days. He hosted podcasts on near-death experiences and biblical apocalypse, and he taught a private, homegrown belief system that divided the people around them into categories, light and dark. Some people in this framework had been taken over by evil spirits. Chad claimed he could rate a person's spiritual standing on a scale and claimed to know who was truly a person and who had become, in their private language, a zombie. The specifics of the belief mattered because they became a blueprint for what followed. In their private mythology, Lori and Chad believed they were high-ranking spiritual beings who had lived many past lives together, that Lori was a goddess-like figure and Chad a prophet, and that the two of them were meant to help gather the 144,000 righteous souls before the second coming, which they believed was imminent. Chad's rating system assigned people a number and a shade, light or dark, and crucially, a person who had gone dark in this framework was no longer really that person at all. Their spirit had left. What remained was a shell occupied by evil, a zombie. And a zombie, they reasoned, could not truly be killed because the real person was already gone. Lori and Chad were both married to other people when they met, but they came to believe their union was destined, ordained across lifetimes. And within that belief system, the people standing between them and that destiny began, one by one, to be labeled dark, to be labeled zombies. A spouse, a first wife, and most unthinkably, 2 children. Once a person was relabeled as no longer human, the moral barrier against harming them dissolved. That is the quiet horror at the engine of this case. Not rage, not a snapped moment, but a calm theology that redefined murder as merely releasing a spirit that had already fled. And the people they labeled started to die. The first warning came from the man who knew her best, and it is preserved on camera for anyone to watch. In January of 2019, Lori's estranged husband, Charles Vallow, called police in Gilbert, Arizona. He was frightened, and a body camera recorded everything he said. Charles told the officers that his wife had, in his words, lost her mind, that she had come to believe she was a god-like figure, a member of a special group meant to lead in the last days. He said she had told him he was possessed by a dark spirit, that the man she was married to had already died, and that his body was now inhabited by someone named Ned. He said she had threatened his life. He asked the police to help him get her a mental health evaluation. Listen to how specific Charles was. He told officers his wife had begun calling him by a different name entirely, that she insisted the real Charles was dead, and that his body was now hosting a dark spirit. He described her withdrawing large sums of money, talking about the end of the world, aligning herself with a group that believed they had special missions in the last days. This was not a vague marital complaint. It was a precise, documented account of exactly the belief system that prosecutors would later prove had motive to kill him. The officers spoke with Lori too, and that footage exists as well. Lori, calm, even amused, brushing off her husband's alarm as if he were the unstable one. And here is the tragedy of the system as it stood. Charles had done everything right. He had called the authorities. He had spoken plainly. He had asked for a mental health evaluation. But there is no law against holding a strange belief, and on that day there was nothing officers could arrest anyone for. To a viewer watching now, knowing what came after, it is one of the most chilling pieces of the entire record. A man telling the police, correctly, that his wife believed he was no longer human 7 months before her brother would shoot him dead in that same city. The warning was on the record. No one could have known then how literally it would come true. On the morning of July 11th, 2019, Charles Vallow drove to Lori's house in Chandler, Arizona to pick up their son.
Do you have an alarm system?
No. Okay. Oh, there you go. Cars are all gone. She is gone. I don't know where my kids are.
Is there anything in her place in here, like she might have taken off somewhere?
All 4 cars are gone.
Oh, you have 4 cars.
Yeah. My daughter has one, Zach, our nephew, has one. I have my truck, and she has an Infinity. I don't know where my son is.
Who's the oldest?
You have the right to force entry, so.
Who's the oldest child?
Tylee, I've got 3 in college, so they're gone.
Who lives here? That's the
Tylee's
oldest.
16. Zach is 19. He's our nephew. He's living here.
Okay. And you tried calling him?
Yes.
Why won't he answer?
I don't know. He
Okay.
won't answer. She's got him in Buffalo too. I don't know what she told him.
Okay. And then
No idea.
Back doors and everything?
There's back doors, but they're locked up.
You already checked them?
Yeah. Well, I'm done. But there's a key to the, I gotta jump this gate. You have the pool, go back door. I don't know what I did. Do I file a stolen call report on my truck?
yeah, you'll have to call. It was at Sky Harbor, right? You'll have to call Phoenix Police, and they'll get all your information. You don't have a hidden key,
No, it's in the house.
so it's not hidden.
JJ can open it, but we have to keep those locks really.
Understand.
He's a runner.
So the dog is gone too?
Augustin, he'd be barking. He doesn't bark much. He's a service dog. Very well trained, but he would be barking. They wouldn't leave him here. He's a part of the family. So I'm going to go try the back door. I may break the window. Is that okay?
It's up to you if you want to break the window. If I was going to break something, I'd probably break your garage door. Because you can still secure your garage once your window's broken.
Okay. Let me just make sure.
Just check the windows, and if it's not locked, come back. Or if it's locked, come back.
He never left alive. Lori's brother, Alex Cox, shot Charles twice with a handgun. Alex told police it was self-defense, that Charles had swung a baseball bat at him, that he had no choice. But the details did not add up, and the body camera footage from that morning captured the strangeness. Alex's account shifted. The scene didn't match a desperate struggle, and Lori's behavior was, to the officers, oddly flat. A woman whose husband had just been killed in her own home, showing almost nothing. Investigators would later reconstruct the timeline and find that shortly before the shooting, Lori had calmly gone through a Burger King drive-thru. Life for her was simply continuing. There were other tells that morning that only made sense in hindsight. Alex Cox waited a striking amount of time before calling for help. The physical evidence, the position of the alleged bat, the wounds did not cleanly support a man fighting for his life. And Lori's own daughter, Tylee, was in the house that morning. Investigators later learned the teenager had been present for the aftermath of her stepfather's killing. One more weight the 16-year-old was made to carry in the final weeks of her life. At the time, with limited evidence, no charges were filed. Alex Cox was not arrested. Charles Vallow's death was quietly logged, for the moment, as a justified shooting. Lori, meanwhile, moved quickly to claim the payout on his life insurance policy, a policy worth around $1 million. It would take years, and the discovery of everything that followed before Arizona prosecutors returned to that morning and called it what a jury would eventually agree it was not self-defense but a planned murder, carried out so that Lori could collect that money and be free to marry Chad Daybell. The first zombie, in their private language, had been dealt with. There would be more. With Charles gone, Lori moved her children from Arizona to Rexburg, Idaho, to be near Chad Daybell. But Chad had a wife. Her name was Tammy Daybell, a school librarian, a mother of 5, and by every account a kind and grounded woman. In their private theology, Tammy had a problem. She was in the way. In the weeks before her death, Chad began telling people Tammy was ill, that she was fainting, declining a narrative not supported by those who actually saw her. There was even an incident in which a man tried to shoot Tammy in her own driveway with a paintball-style gun and failed. Then, on October 19, 2019, Tammy Daybell died in her sleep. Her death was initially ruled natural. The family declined an autopsy. The days around Tammy's death are full of dark detail. Just weeks earlier, a man wearing a mask had confronted Tammy in her own driveway and tried to fire a weapon at her. It jammed and she survived, describing it to family as a paintball gun attack. Investigators later tied that attempt to the same circle around Chad and Lori. And in text messages, Chad and Lori spoke in coded, celebratory terms about spiritual missions being accomplished, language that, read after the fact, tracks the deaths with chilling precision. Just over 2 weeks after Tammy died, Chad Daybell married Lori Vallow on a beach in Hawaii, the two of them dancing in the sand, wearing leis, celebrating. While Tammy lay newly buried and Lori's 2 children were, by then, already gone. When investigators grew suspicious and exhumed Tammy's body, the autopsy that had been declined the first time finally told the truth. She had not died naturally in her sleep. She had been asphyxiated. Her death became the 3rd killing in a chain, and in their belief system, one more prophecy conveniently fulfilled, one more obstacle removed from the path of 2 people who believed the rules of ordinary mortals no longer applied to them. It is time to bring the children fully into their own story, because in all the theology and the marriages and the money, they are the ones who were lost. Tylee Ryan was 16. She was creative, funny, close to her mother, on the edge of adulthood. Joshua JJ was 7. He had been adopted by Lori and Charles as a baby. He was autistic, joyful, a little boy who loved trucks and hugs and had a whole family who adored him. Tylee was last seen alive on September 8, 2019 on a trip to Yellowstone with her mother, her brother, and her uncle Alex, JJ, was last seen alive at the end of September. And then nothing, no school, no doctor visits, no FaceTime with the grandparents who called constantly. There is a photograph that has come to define the loss, one of the last images of Tylee alive, taken on that Yellowstone trip on September 8th, smiling in the open air with her little brother and her mother. It is unbearable to look at now, knowing it is nearly the last time anyone outside that family would see her. For JJ, the images are of a bright-eyed boy in glasses, a child whose autism meant he needed more care, more patience, more protection, not less. These were not abstractions. They were kids with birthdays and favorite foods and people who ached for them. Those aching people were, above all, Kay and Larry Woodcock, JJ's grandparents, who loved him fiercely and had helped raise him. When they could not reach the children, when the answers Lori gave got vaguer and stranger, they did what Lori never did. They pushed. They called police in Idaho. They called the media. They demanded a welfare check. History should record that in a case where nearly every adult with power failed these children, it was two grandparents with no power at all, only love and stubbornness, who refused to accept their fine. It was their persistence that finally forced the outside world to come knocking on Lori on November 26th, 2019. Prompted by the grandparents, police went to check on the children. What happened next was captured on body camera, and it became one of the defining pieces of the case.
Hello.
So, we're here.
Wow, this is a big mess. I just talked to the guy on the phone.
And what did he ask you?
He was just saying that he wanted to do a well check on JJ.
So, JJ would be where?
He's in Arizona.
Who's he with in Arizona?
He's with one of my friends in Arizona.
Oh. Oh, you got a notepad?
No? Oh, you want?
No. Come here. Mind if he comes in?
Oh.
So,
Sorry.
who's the friend he's with?
My friend Melanie. Her son has autism. Her name's Melanie Gibb. I gave him all the information on the phone.
Okay, so he can call
Yeah.
her. This part.
Yeah. What is all this?
We're a little
What is
concerned
Right.
because, well, the officers who were here earlier
Yeah.
were checking, and they got a bad vibe that, like, something was going on here because nobody knew anything about a child. They weren't talking.
It's because a
What's
lot of
going on?
stuff has gone on. If you want to know, it's a lot of stuff. So
Well, that's why we're concerned, because it just was kind of weird.
it is very weird. I've had to move around a lot. One of my brothers is trying to kill me. Not the brother that lives here, obviously. He's kind of my protector. My other brother that was in with my husband, who was trying to kill me for my $2 million life insurance policy.
No.
So a lot of stuff has gone on in this last year. It's been a horrible year for us. I've had to move around. And so I was going to move back to Arizona, put my son back in the school there, because I tried to put him in school here, public school, Kennedy.
Okay.
He went for 2 months. We tried it, but he had such a hard time. Now, the person who called is my sister-in-law, but she's his natural grandmother. He's adopted by us. Okay, so her son, who is a drug addict, had a baby with a girl who's a drug addict, and they took him from, CPS took him.
Okay.
Gave him to the grandmother. She came about him, and then she wanted us to adopt him, which we did. And we loved him.
By
and
us.
my husband and I, who died earlier this year.
Okay.
He passed away. Since he passed away, she's been trying to fight me for him and being really horrible to me and that kind of stuff. She's kind of the paternal friend.
Okay, thank
Does
you.
that make sense?
That's what I
I'm
meant.
sorry.
The paternal grandmother.
And he has autism and ADHD. He doesn't really talk to people. Like he's very special needs. So I had him in a special needs school there. She was trying to. So what happened was, my husband, who we were married for 15 years and had raised all these 5 kids together, switched his life insurance policy to her, right?
To
to his sister,
okay.
who got $1 million when he died, And we got nothing. For me to raise JJ, and all the kids got nothing, and everybody got nothing. She got $1 million. So I knew she was going to try to sue me for him, or
JJ?
Yeah, because she now has this $1 million, so she can hire people to help him, and I have nothing.
But you have legal custody.
He's my son. I adopted him when
Right.
he was 2 years. We had him from the time he was 8 months old till 2 years old. So she does nothing and wants to cause me trouble. So I don't tell people the truth about where we are and what we're doing because of those reasons. So I look like a suspect, but I am a good person. Raised all of my kids. I've done everything that I'm supposed to do in life, but everyone is causing me trouble right now. So
We don't want to cause a lot of trouble. How long have you been here?
we've only been here since September.
Okay.
We moved up here in September. My daughter goes to BYUI.
Your daughter goes to BYU?
Yeah.
Does she live here?
So it's been a nightmare, but I'm gonna go back to Arizona so I can put him back in the special needs school.
Officers spoke with Lori and with the people around her, asking a simple question: where are the kids? The answers were smooth, and they were lies. JJ, Lori's circle said, was fine staying with a family friend in Arizona. When police pressed, the story held just long enough to buy time. There was no panic, no urgency, no mother demanding help finding her children.
Couldn't do the school here. It was too hard for him. He would scream and cry, take him to school. The principal would have to come out, try to drag him out of the car. Like, it just was too hard. But I just don't tell people where I am. I don't tell her where I am ever. And she doesn't have any legal rights to anything. Like, she's been horrible to me since my husband died.
My understanding, she never called you to try to get the child, hey, I'm interested in the child back, but that.
I know, but she sends me these emails with, like, the date and, like she's putting up court stuff, like, she's documenting. I haven't heard from him in all this time, and so I've told her that he's fine. But
See, and we hadn't heard any of that as far as...
I'm just saying she's doing this as part of that, is my understanding.
And our only concern in this whole thing
is that
is,
he's fine.
is the child.
I got it.
And so that's where we're at on the... And then
So
we were just a little weirded out when... and I understand now that we've heard your side of the story.
It's awful. They just I feel like I'm being tracked all the time. I'm like, why are police coming to my car? What did I do?
They said they were out visiting 2 guys, and I'm assuming one's your brother.
Yeah.
Who was the other one? The other guy they were visiting with. There were 2. Well, we had 2 detectives over here trying to...
Looking for you a little while ago.
Oh, because I was at the store.
And they ran into... Well, probably one of your brothers.
My brother and his friend, probably.
Oh, who's
He didn't
that?
move me. Chad?
Chad from around here? What's his last name? Yeah, okay. All right.
So, it's just a mess. Like, just constantly causing me trouble.
Chad the D-A-Y-B-E-L-O?
He's an author.
Doesn't he live like out in the... He's not the Chad Daybell that... Didn't his wife pass away recently? Is that him?
I don't know.
But it is. Chad D-A-Y-B-E-L-L. Yeah.
But it sounds familiar as an author.
I think I know one of his. He's got a couple of daughters.
He has lots of kids.
Okay. I'll bet it's safe. All right. Well, you need anything else? Sorry to bother you.
Thank you.
We don't mean to be a problem.
I'm sorry that people are constantly knocking on my door. They're looking for me, and I just don't want to be found, so.
Have you had problems? Because I think we only had.
Well, the reason I'm moving is because the brother that was going to kill me, that we found emails and texts with my husband at the time, keeps showing up here, so he found out where I was, and he was knocking on my door.
No, this was your brother?
One of my brothers.
Showed up here and was knocking on your door.
He lives in Kansas.
And you said something about you were getting threatening emails?
Well, no. Just after my husband passed, I found emails and texts between them that they were planning all this stuff to get rid of me.
Do we need to worry about him coming over?
Well, that's when I'm moving back. I'm moving, and I'm not going to be in a place. I'm going to live with my friend, Melanie. Don't tell anybody her name, Gib, because I don't want anything in my name. I put the apartment in my name, but I've been staying over here with my brother because he protects me.
because Lori Vallow already knew exactly where her children were. They were not in Arizona with a friend. They were, investigators would later establish, already dead and buried close by. It is worth pausing on what a welfare check actually is. It is the system's simplest safety net, a knock on the door, a request to simply see the child alive and well. It asks almost nothing, and even that Lori Vallow would not give. She would not produce her son. She would not let officers lay eyes on him. Every parent watching understands in their gut how impossible that refusal is, because a parent with nothing to hide produces the child instantly. Gratefully relieved someone cared enough to check. When officers said they would return the next day to actually see JJ, Lori and Chad did not cooperate. They ran. Within days, they had emptied out and fled Idaho entirely, heading for Hawaii, leaving behind the questions, the grandparents, and 2 children who could no longer answer for themselves. The welfare check that was supposed to reassure everyone instead confirmed the worst fear, that the person hiding these children was the one person the law trusted most to protect them, their own mother. The search led to paradise. Lori and Chad Daybell had settled on the island of Kauai, Hawaii, living as newlyweds, seen relaxing by a resort pool, as if the missing children back in Idaho were someone else's problem.
39 hours on January 25th.
Do you need something?
Any questions? You have any questions for that? No? Okay.
All right, have a nice day.
Have a nice day. How's it going? Are you Chad and Lori? This is all you can serve.
Do you have any questions regarding that?
So it is 14:39 hours on January 25th.
Do you need something?
Any questions?
You have any questions for that? No? Okay.
All right, have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Body cameras captured investigators confronting the couple, and again the striking note is the calm. 2 people at the center of a national search for 2 missing kids, sunlit and unbothered. A court in Idaho ordered Lori to physically produce the children within 5 days. She did not. She could not. In February of 2020, Lori was arrested in Hawaii on charges related to her refusal to produce JJ and Tylee and to child abandonment. Her bail was set high, and she was eventually extradited back to Idaho. The evidence around the couple kept darkening. Investigators found that in the weeks after the children vanished, Chad Daybell had made trips onto his own rural property with a shovel. and phone location data placed the family's devices at that land during the window the children disappeared. Text messages between Chad and Lori referred to JJ and Tylee in the past tense, as if they were already spoken of as gone. And still, publicly, Lori's team insisted the children were alive and safe. By now, the case had exploded across the country. The press had a name for her, the Doomsday Mom, and the world was fixated on a single unbearable question. If the children were fine, as Lori kept insisting, then where were they? Why would a mother sit in a jail cell facing charges rather than simply say the words that would set her free? Here they are. Investigators quietly already had a terrible suspicion about why she couldn't. And in June of 2020, armed with the phone data and a warrant, they went to Chad Daybell's property in the small town of Salem, Idaho, with cadaver dogs and began to dig. On June 9, 2020, investigators searched the rural property owned by Chad Daybell in Salem, Idaho. We are not going to describe what they found in any detail, because the details serve nothing but pain. It is enough to say this: the remains of both children were located buried on that land. Tylee Ryan, Joshua JJ Vallow. The search was over, the hope was gone. For the grandparents who had fought for months to be heard, for the family, for a watching country, the confirmation was devastating in a way that is hard to put into words. The children had been dead the entire time their mother told the world they were fine. Every calm denial, every smooth answer on that welfare check footage, every day she spent as a newlywed in Hawaii, all of it laid over the truth that her children were already gone. The manner in which the children were found, the care taken to conceal them, the difference in how each was treated spoke to a cruelty that prosecutors would later lay before a jury in full. We will not repeat those specifics here. What matters for this telling is the human fact underneath the forensic 1-2 children, who had trusted the adults around them, were put into the ground and lied about for 9 months while their mother lived free. The grandmother, who had refused to stop asking, now had her answer, and it was the worst one imaginable. Chad Daybell was arrested that same day. Lori was already in custody. The theology that had labeled people light and dark, the prophecies about the end of the world, all of it now had a physical location, a patch of ground behind a house near a pet cemetery. And the machinery of justice, slow and deliberate, finally turned toward answering not where the children were, but how they had died, and who would answer for it. Lori Vallow Daybell's murder trial began in the spring of 2023, moved to Boise for an impartial jury. Over weeks, prosecutors laid out a case that stripped away the mysticism and showed the machinery underneath. Yes, there was a bizarre belief system. But beneath the talk of light and dark and zombies, the state argued were ordinary, ancient motives: money, sex, and power. They showed the jury the life insurance policy on Charles Vallow, the Social Security survivor benefits Lori continued to collect for children who were dead. The way each person labeled Dark Charles, Tammy, and finally the children themselves stood between Lori and Chad and the life they believed they were destined for. Her brother Alex Cox, the man who pulled the trigger on Charles and was tied to the deaths, could not testify. He had died in December 2019. But the paper trail, the phone records, the timeline, and the theology spoke for him. The physical and digital evidence was crushing. phone location data placed devices at the burial site. A photo on Alex Cox's phone was time-stamped in Tylee's burial area the day after she was last seen alive. Financial records traced the flow of Charles Vallow's insurance money and the survivor benefits Lori kept claiming for dead children. Witnesses described the theology in the couple's own words. The defense tried to shift blame onto Alex Cox, who was conveniently dead, and onto Chad. But the jury saw a woman at the center of every death, benefiting from every one. On May 12, 2023, the jury delivered its verdict. Guilty. Guilty of the first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan. Guilty of the first-degree murder of JJ Vallow. Guilty of conspiracy in the death of Tammy Daybell. Guilty of grand theft for the benefits she stole in her children's names. Guilty on every count she faced. The doomsday mother was no longer an accused woman with an eccentric belief system. In the eyes of the law, she was a convicted child killer. On July 31, 2023, Lori Vallow Daybell stood for sentencing. The judge did not hold back. He spoke about the wake of destruction she had left, and he handed down the maximum the law allowed: life in prison without the possibility of parole, 3 sentences, ordered to run consecutively, one for each life the state held her responsible for. Before that, the families spoke. Kay and Larry Woodcock, JJ's grandparents, who had refused to stop asking questions, addressed the woman who had taken the child they loved. Their words and the words of Tylee's family were the true center of that courtroom, not the theology, not the spectacle, but grief and love and the memory of 2 kids who deserved to grow up. Kay Woodcock spoke of the little boy who called her, of the future stolen from him. She spoke remarkably of finding a way past hatred, not for Lori's sake but for her own survival. Lori, for her part, offered no meaningful remorse. In the lead-up to sentencing, she made bizarre statements claiming her children still visited her, insisting Jesus knew she was innocent. To the families and to the watching public, it read as the same untouchable self-belief that had let her bury 2 children and go dancing on a beach. Chad Daybell was tried separately the following year. In 2024, an Idaho jury convicted him of the murders of Tammy Daybell, Tylee Ryan, and JJ Vallow, and unlike Lori, Chad faced the death penalty. On June 1, 2024, that same jury sentenced him to death. The author, who had spent his career writing about the end of the world, had, in the end, authored his own. Both have since filed appeals. The legal process is not fully closed, but the verdicts and the facts they rest on stand. There was still unfinished business in Arizona, the state where it had all begun, with a husband shot in his own home and a case once closed as self-defense. Prosecutors reopened it. In 2 separate trials in 2025, Lori Vallow Daybell was convicted of conspiring to murder her estranged husband, Charles Vallow, and of conspiring to murder her niece's ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux, a man her brother Alex had shot at and missed. In those Arizona trials, Lori chose to represent herself, questioning witnesses about her own alleged crimes, a final display of the certainty that had run through the entire case. It did not save her. On July 25, 2025, an Arizona judge handed down 2 more life sentences, closing the legal saga of the doomsday mother across 2 states, 3 deaths, and 1 attempted killing. Lori Vallow Daybell will not leave prison. Chad Daybell waits on death row. The belief system that promised them a role in the last days delivered them, instead, to a cell and a death chamber. In the years since, this case has become a kind of grim reference point, the story people reach for when they try to describe how belief can be bent into a weapon. There have been documentaries and books and endless discussion of the theology, the psychology, the missed chances. And that discussion matters. Because the hardest lesson here is not that a monster existed, but that the systems we trust to catch this, the welfare check, the concerned husband's phone call, the watchful relatives, all fired exactly as designed, and still the children were lost. Charles called the police. The grandparents called everyone. The warnings were made on the record in time. What was missing was any legal power to act on a belief before it became a body. So if this story is to mean anything beyond horror, let it sharpen that instinct to take the strange, insistent warnings of the people closest to a family seriously, before the worst is already buried in the ground. That is the only thing that honors what was lost here. But this was never really their story. Strip away the prophecies and the trials and the headlines, and what remains is a 16-year-old girl and a 7-year-old boy who trusted the person they were supposed to trust most, and who paid for that trust with their lives. So we end where we should. Tylee Ryan. Joshua JJ Vallow, not the doomsday mom. Not the author of the end of the world. Them. Remember them.